Welcome back to Cardboard Castaways, the only podcast hosted by Muppets who are obsessed with cardboard.
Cardboard.
I had trading cards.
Oh, right, of course. So, what kind of trading cards are we talking about today?
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into the world of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh! Excellent choice. A classic.
You know, I once tried to build a house of cards using only Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards.
Oh, really?
It was a monster of a mess.
I bet. Well, today we're diving into something a bit more structured, Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes.
Arch what now? Sounds like a fancy word for those groups of cards that always seem to work together.
Work together?
Yeah, like they're part of a team or something.
That's a great way to put it. An archetype is a group of cards with a shared name and strategy designed to work together like a well-oiled dueling machine.
So instead of just throwing random cards together, you're building a deck with a specific goal and a plan to win. Sounds a lot more strategic than my throw everything at the wall and see what sticks approach.
Definitely. And there are tons of these archetypes out there. Just to give you a taste, we're talking Dark Magician, Gladiator, Beast, Monarch, Toon, hundreds of them.
Hundreds. Whoa, no wonder.
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm swimming in a sea of cards. But how am I supposed to understand what all these different archetypes do? It's like trying to learn a new language.
Don't worry, that's what we're here for. This deep dive will help you understand the core of what makes an archetype tick, no matter which one you encounter. It's like learning the alphabet of Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck building.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. So let's say I pull a random card from my collection. How can I tell if it belongs to an archetype?
Well, the first clue is the name. Archetype cards will always have part of the archetype name in their title, like Dark Magician or Gladiator Beast. It's like their team jersey.
So if I see a card that says Mystical Elf, it might be part of an archetype called Mystical Elves.
Exactly. And once you've identified the name, you can start to understand the archetype's mechanics and playstyle.
Mechanics, play style. Sounds a bit like a video game.
Well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game, and each archetype has its own unique way of playing. It's what makes them so fun and diverse.
All right, I'm hooked. Tell me more about these mechanics and play styles.
Let's start with summoning mechanics. These are the special ways that each archetype brings its monsters onto the field. Some archetypes like gadgets focus on simple normal and special summons, while others like Infernoids rely heavily on special summons and fusion.
Fusion, is that like when you combine two monsters to make a super-powered one? Kind of like those giant robots in those old cartoons.
You got it. Fusion is one of many summoning mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh! And each archetype often favors a particular method. It's like their secret weapon.
This is getting good. So gadgets are all about summoning lots of monsters quickly, while Infernoids are more about those epic fusion combinations.
Exactly. And then there's the playstyle, which is the overall strategy or game plan that each archetype uses.
So, like some archetypes might be super aggressive, attacking relentlessly, while others are more defensive, focusing on traps and counterattacks, and maybe some are even tricksters trying to outsmart their opponents.
You're getting it. Each archetype has its own distinct personality and approach to dueling. For example, gladiator beasts are known for their battle-focused strategy using contact fusion to summon powerful monsters right in the middle of a fight.
Whoa, contact fusion. That sounds intense. Like they're fusing on the fly. No time for fancy rituals or anything.
Exactly. It's a high-risk, high-reward tactic that makes them very unpredictable. Then you have archetypes like Sylvans, who are masters of manipulation, using their cards to control which cards they draw and set up powerful combos.
Deck manipulation. Sounds like something a sneaky Muppet like me would love. How do they do that?
They utilize graveyard effects, which means their cards activate special abilities when they're sent to the graveyard. It allows Sylvans to control their resources and always seem to have the right card at the right time.
Graveyard effects. Sounds spooky, but also super strategic. So gladiator beasts are the brawlers, and Sylvans are the masterminds.
That's a great way to put it. And that's what makes understanding archetypes so important. It gives you a deeper understanding of your opponent's strategy and helps you anticipate their moves. It's like having a secret decoder ring for Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay, I'm starting to see the light. So knowing about archetypes can make me a better duelist.
Absolutely.
Before we get into some specific examples of these awesome archetypes, a quick reminder to like and subscribe to Cardboard Castaways.
Oh, yes, please do that.
We love bringing you all the juicy details about the world of trading card games. And don't forget to leave a comment telling us which Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes you'd like to hear more about.
We just might deep dive into them in a future episode.
Who knows, maybe one day your custom archetype could become a real part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game.
That's right. Imagine seeing your own creations, battling it out in tournaments, and becoming a fan favorite.
Now that's the dream right there. To have your own cards printed and played by duelists all over the world.
And it all starts with that spark of creativity, that willingness to explore new ideas and push the boundaries of what's possible in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well said, my friend. Well said. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the fascinating world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes.
We hope you've enjoyed this journey and learned a thing or two about these powerful teams and how they shape the game.
Remember, whether you're a seasoned veteran or a fresh-faced newcomer, understanding archetypes is the key to unlocking a whole new level of Yu-Gi-Oh! Mastery.
So keep on dueling, keep on collecting, and most importantly, keep on having fun with this amazing game.
Now that we've laid the groundwork, let's jump into some real-life examples of Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes in action.
Sounds good to me.
Can we start with those gladiator beasts you mentioned earlier? They sound right up my alley, all about action and those cool fusion moves.
Fusion moves.
Plus, I've always wanted a pet lion.
Well, you won't find any actual lions in this deck, but the gladiator beasts are definitely a force to be reckoned with. Their whole strategy revolves around tag team battling and summoning powerful fusion monsters.
Tag team battling. Sounds like they'd be right at home in a wrestling ring.
Exactly. Many of their cards have effects that trigger when they battle, allowing them to switch places with other gladiator beasts in your deck or hand. It's like a constant rotation of fighters, each with their own unique skills.
So it's not just about brute strength, there's actual strategy involved.
Oh.
I'm impressed.
For example, one of their key cards, Gladiator Beast Bestiari, can attack, then tag out for another Gladiator Beast from your deck. This constant switching keeps your opponent guessing and allows you to control the flow of battle.
Hold on, so they could just switch out monsters like that in the middle of a duel? Isn't that against the rules?
It's perfectly legal, and it's one of the things that makes Gladiator Beasts so unique and effective. They even have access to Contact Fusion, which lets them fuse right on the battlefield without needing a spell card.
No spell card, just bam, instant fusion. No, that's what I call a power move.
It makes them very adaptable and dangerous. But not all archetypes rely on such aggressive tactics.
Ooh, you've got my curiosity piqued. Tell me about an archetype that's a little more cerebral. You know, for those of us who prefer strategy over smashing.
Strategy over smashing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, if it's cunning you're after, then the Sylvans are your go-to archetype. They're all about manipulation and control, using clever tactics to outmaneuver their opponents.
Sylvans. Are those the tree-hugging folks you mentioned earlier who mess around with the deck? I'm all about those sneaky tactics.
You got it. Sylvans are masters of deck manipulation. They have a bunch of cards with effects that activate when they're sent to the graveyard, which lets them control which cards they draw and set up those game-winning combos.
Graveyard effects. Sounds a bit morbid, but hey, whatever works. So how do they use these spooky abilities to their advantage?
Think of it this way. Imagine you're playing a card game where you could choose which cards you draw next. That's the kind of control Sylvans have.
Whoa, that's like having a cheat code for Yu-Gi-Oh!
Not exactly cheating, but it does give them a significant edge. They can search for specific cards, they need to disrupt their opponent's plans, and always seem to have the perfect answer to any situation.
So gladiator beasts are like those action heroes who punch first and ask questions later, and Sylvans are the clever strategists who always seem to be one step ahead.
That's a fantastic analogy. It really captures the essence of their playstyles. And it highlights why understanding archetypes is so important for any duelist. It's not just about knowing what your cards do, it's about understanding how they work together as part of a larger strategy.
So by knowing about archetypes, I can actually predict what my opponent might do next. It was like I'm a mind reader.
In a way, yes. By recognizing your opponent's archetype, you can anticipate their moves, prepare counterplays, and make more informed decisions during a duel. It takes your game to a whole new level.
Now, that's what I call a deep dive. So what does this mean for all you listeners out there?
It means that understanding Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes can transform you from a casual player into a strategic mastermind. It unlocks a deeper level of enjoyment, whether you're collecting deck building or battling it out in a duel.
And don't forget, knowing about archetypes can also enhance your appreciation for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Animated series, where many of the characters use signature archetypes in their duels.
Absolutely. It's like seeing your favorite cards come to life on screen.
So if you want to level up your Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, understanding archetypes is the key. And remember, the fun doesn't stop there.
That's right. Now that you understand what makes an archetype tick, why not try designing your own?
Wait, you mean I can create my own Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype? With my own name, monsters, and everything?
Of course. It's a great way to flex those creative muscles and explore the endless possibilities of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Ooh, this is where it gets really interesting. If I were to create an archetype, I'd call it the Fuzzy Furies. And it would be all about those cuddly but chaotic monsters with unpredictable effects.
I love it. It's certainly original. What kind of strategy would your Fuzzy Furies employ?
Well, they'd be all about randomness and chaos. Imagine a monster that could change its attack points based on a coin flip or a spell card that shuffles the entire field.
That sounds like a wild ride. I'm sure our listeners have even more amazing ideas brewing in their minds.
So, dear listeners, we challenge you to unleash your inner card game creator. What kind of archetype would you create? What would its name be? What kind of monsters would it have? And most importantly, what awesome strategy would it use to dominate the duel?
Be sure to share your awesome archetype ideas in the comments below. We can't wait to see what you come up with.
And while you're at it, don't forget to like this podcast episode and subscribe to Cardboard Castaways for more deep dives into the world of trading card games. We've got a whole stack of cardboard waiting to be explored.
A whole stack.
Who knows, maybe one day your custom archetype could become a real part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game.
That's right. Imagine seeing your own creations battling it out in tournaments and becoming a fan favorite.
Now that's the dream right there. To have your own cards printed and played by duelists all over the world.
And it all starts with that spark of creativity, that willingness to explore new ideas and push the boundaries of what's possible in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well said, my friend. Well said.
Eh.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the fascinating world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes.
We hope you've enjoyed this journey and learned a thing or two about these powerful teams and how they shape the game.
Remember, whether you're a seasoned veteran or a fresh-faced newcomer, understanding archetypes is the key to unlocking a whole new level of Yu-Gi-Oh! Mastery.
So keep on dueling, keep on collecting, and most importantly, keep on having fun with this amazing game.
And until next time, may your decks be strong, your strategies be cunning, and your monsters be as fuzzy and furious as you can imagine.
Fuzzy and furious! Now there's a combination I never thought I'd hear.
Haha. See you next time, folks. Keep on dueling. So are you saying that, like, if I make a really cool archetype,
Yeah.
it could actually end up in the real game?
Absolutely. You never know. If your ideas are creative and fun and capture the spirit of Yu-Gi-Oh!
You think so?
I really do.
Wow. That's incredible to think about. All those amazing archetypes out there.
Yeah.
Maybe one day mine'll be among them.
I'd love to see that. I really would.
What kind of archetype would really stand out, though? It'd have to be something truly special.
Well, think about what you enjoy most about Yu-Gi-Oh! What kind of strategies excite you? What kind of monsters do you find most appealing?
You know, I've always been a fan of those cards that make you laugh.
Cards that make you laugh?
You know, the ones with those funny names or those wacky effects that turn the duel on its head?
Oh, I see what you mean, like
Yeah.
those prankster cards?
Exactly.
Ah,
Maybe I could create an archetype all about silliness and surprises. Like, imagine a monster that forces both players to sing a song every time it attacks.
that's hilarious. I can already picture it. A duel filled with laughter and unexpected twists and turns.
Yeah. And maybe some of the monsters could be based on, like, stand-up comedians or clowns or even those inflatable tube guys you see at car dealerships.
Inflatable tube guys. That's brilliant. I can already picture a card called Wacky Waving Inflatable Tube Man with an effect that shuffles all the monsters on the field.
Haha. See? You're getting it. It'd be an archetype all about bringing the fun back to dueling.
I love it. It's a great reminder that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is ultimately a game, and games are meant to be enjoyed.
Exactly. So,
Yep.
listeners, if you're out there and you've got a crazy idea for a Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype, don't be afraid to let your imagination run wild.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows, maybe your creation will be the next big thing.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes. We hope you've enjoyed this exploration and learned something new along the way.
Remember, whether you're a seasoned duelist or just starting out understanding archetypes is essential for taking your game to the next level.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to Cardboard Castaways for more exciting deep dives into the world of trading card games.
Until next time, keep on dueling, keep on collecting, and keep on having fun.
Yeah, keep on having fun.
See ya.